It's time to take a journey, to find your courage, break through your limits, and master your destiny. It's time for Ken D. Foster's Voices of Courage. Ken brings you some of the most courageous people on the planet that will inspire greatness within you and change your life for the better. It's time to see the unseeable, know the unknowable, and do the impossible. It's time for Voices of Courage. And here's your host, Ken D. Foster.
Well, hello and welcome. This is Ken D. Foster, and today this show is going to change the way you think about work-life balance. I have a couple of special guests who have mastered multidimensional thinking, and they're going to help you to succeed in business and life, honestly, like never before. This show is all about us supporting you to find the courage to increase your mental capacity, your emotional stability, your physical endurance, and your energetic blueprint. Let me ask you this. Where in your life do you need a big breakthrough? Just think about it for a minute. Is there somewhere that is going on right now? Maybe it's in money and finance. Maybe it's in relationship. Maybe it's in career. Maybe it's in your health or fitness. Where is that area in your life that you really want to take it to the next level? This isn't brain surgery. You can just ask the question. It's okay. And once you ask that question, you can start to acknowledge where it is. We can't change anything we don't acknowledge, right? So if you acknowledge it, we can change it. So have you ever been in a place in your life where you've been feeling like completely stuck and then something unexpected happens? Maybe it's even miraculous, or at least feels that way. And you're able to break through all your limitations and move to the next level of understanding instantly. Well, this happened to me recently. I was skiing with my daughter up in Big Bear in Southern California, just last week actually. And an expert skier flew down the mountain at a rate of speed that I can only imagine was amazing. I was just looking at it, staring at this person, going, gosh, this is amazing. And my daughter skied up to me, and she happened to see the same fella go down the hill. And I looked at her and I said, you know, Tara, I wish I could ski like that. Now, I've been skiing about 40 years. I have a lot of experience behind me. And she looked at me kind of perplexed, and she said, you already ski like that. Something about that moment, her words, I took it on and I went, oh, yeah, I can. Now, I've been skiing for 2 days. How come that didn't happen before? I don't know. But immediately I got on my skis and followed that fellow down the mountain and was able to ski brilliantly in perfect form, faster than I'd skied in the last couple days with no problem. And instantly everything changed for me. So why in that moment did I self-realize that? Well, I believe this. I had the experience, I had the skill sets to do it, but there was something inside of me that was still holding back. There was something that was there, a limitation, probably a fear of going fast or being in that form. And as soon as I let that go, another human being acknowledged that, instantly everything was changed for me. Has that ever happened to you? I'll bet it has. Well, how would you like to have those breakthroughs on a consistent basis? I've written a book. It's called The Courage to Change Everything. And I want to tell you, this is a powerful book. It's a powerful read. It's a book that will actually change the way that you think, change the way that you show up in life. And it's written for people that are very busy. And I wrote it really kind of for me and for all of you, because we're all like that. So it's daily strategies and essential wisdom to awaken the inner genius in you. Just like mine was awakened on that ski slope, you can awaken yours every single day. Imagine 365 days, every day, opening up, waking up that genius and making the shift that you need to change your business, change your life in an instant. Well, that's what the book's about. Hope you'll check it out. It's brand new. You can get it on my website at couragetochange.us. Again, couragetochange.us. And if you go there, you'll get a whole bunch of bonuses with it. So I just want to mention that to you because I know this book will change your life. I'm getting great feedback on it. And quite frankly, after I wrote it, I started working the book myself, and I'm blown away. Amazing what comes through us when we're in higher states of consciousness, when we write things that are amazing like this book. Okay, I want to introduce you now to my special guest, my first special guest, actually. And Jennifer, I hope I don't butcher your last name, but here goes. Anyway, my guest is Jennifer Marcenelle. How's that? Is that pretty close?
You got it. The E is long.
Okay. Well, listen, Jennifer is a MBA, a BSN, an RN, an HBC-HN. She's a board-certified holistic registered nurse with over 30 years experience in the medical industry. She holds degrees in nursing and business with a specialization in holistic healing for burnout. As an energy medicine practitioner and founder and CEO of Burn Bright Today, she helps people improve mental wellness and recover from burnout and other challenges. Jennifer, thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, and hello from Houston.
Hello from Houston. That's right. You're in Houston.
Yeah.
What a beautiful city that is. Like we were discussing, 12 million people around that city. A lot of people. A lot of people
here to help, right?
Yeah. You know, when there's a lot of people, we really have to learn how to manage our stress, manage our minds, manage our emotions. Otherwise, I guess it does lead to burnout. I can imagine that. And same thing in San Diego or any major city, probably anybody anywhere, actually. How'd you get into this?
Well, as you know, I was classically trained and practiced in Western medicine as an ER and a cardiovascular intensive care, critical care nurse for a number of years. And where I experienced the phenomena of nurse burnout and saw firsthand physician burnout even back in those earlier years, and really got a firsthand experience there. And then I went in when I was trying to decide what to do with my advanced degree. I thought I would go and become a CRNA, work in anesthesia, or become an intensivist. But I had an idea for a business, and I just was guided to go and get an MBA instead. And while I was writing my business case in graduate school, I discovered that I loved my business idea, but not enough to marry it. So I sold the idea, and I got recruited kicking and screaming into equipment sales, the scientific laboratory equipment that goes into hospital laboratories. So I spent about 2 decades bringing cutting edge scientific technology all the way through to patient care to improve patient outcomes and improve patients' lives, specifically around blood product transfusion, which was a big need back at the time. And that 2 decades really added to the burnout that I was already experiencing from that part of me that is a critical care nurse everywhere I go, 24/7.
Right.
And the part of spending 2 decades, not only the jet set life and not cooking for myself, but more of the twisting myself into a pretzel to try to please everyone and to meet unrealistic goals that had been placed on myself by senior leadership or sales quotas or teammates or coworkers, family and friends. I kind of had it 360 degrees. And that really, those relationships were so unbalanced, and my relationship with myself was so unbalanced that I ended up in the very end stages of burnout to the point where I had an absolute health crisis and a near suicide.
Wow. You know, and this is interesting because, you know, I have a lot of guests that come on this show that have, that are teachers now and health practitioners and wellness practitioners. And they, a lot of people are going through this in our society. That's my point. And, you know, it's, I'm glad you came on the other side, but, you know, I guess sometimes we have to experience this to be able to be great teachers at what not to do and what to do so that we can help others that are going through this stage. You know, one thing I want to know about you is like, you were going through this for a while. When did you finally, when did you first recognize it? Because I think that's an important point for people. You're in it, you don't even recognize you're in it.
Absolutely right. So I liken it to, burnout is like a slow IV drip of poison, where it's every drip is one back to back to back to back negative experience after another, that finally, once you've had that final drip, that you've been poisoned, and you suddenly realize you go from really upset with life. You're very stressed. Your health is failing. You're exhausted. You're losing your temper. You've got running thoughts. You're crying easily or showing flashing rage, things like that, to the point where in my case, in an extreme case of burnout, I actually broke to the point where I actually had a health crisis and nearly took my own life. I nearly had a suicide.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
I had a precipitating event.
I've got to take a quick break. But when I come back, I want to talk to you a little bit about more of those warning signs, but also what we can do with our mindset so that we can change the way that we show up in the world. And by the way, Joan Sotkin just joined me. Joan, welcome to the show. We're going to take a break right now. We'll be right back, and we'll going to do a couple more segments with Jennifer, and then we're going to have Joan Sotkin on the show also. So we'll be right back.
We'll be back with more Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster. Learn more about Ken, how to be a guest on the show, and sponsorship opportunities by visiting voicesofcourage.us.
Where do you turn when a woman you love is suffering from addiction, anxiety, or depression? What can you do when her struggle is tearing you apart? There's a unique program exclusively for women that offers sustainable recovery and transformation. Villa Kalima is located in a beautiful, peaceful resort-like setting in La Costa, California. Villa Kalima is a residential recovery program accepting only 6 women at a time for individualized treatment with proven clinical and holistic therapies for transforming the mind, body, and spirit, focusing on healing the cause, not temporarily masking symptoms. Villa Kalima is a licensed and accredited residential treatment center for women accepting health insurance policies with out-of-network benefits. Find out how you can help her begin her healing by calling Villa Kalima in La Costa at 760-814-8214, 760-814-8214, or visit villakalima.com.
You know you have it, the potential for a more rewarding life, a life that matters. But how do you get there? The answer is in Ken D. Foster's best-selling book, The Courage to Change Everything, Daily Strategies and Essential Wisdom to Awaken Your Inner Genius. With this powerful 365-day guide, your future is in your hands. Imagine having a detailed roadmap to reprogram your brain daily with astute wisdom, courageous strategies, and time-tested wealth principles. You will redefine what is possible for you, unlock your potential, and bring out your best to take your relationships, finances, and life to a new level. Get your life-transforming copy of Ken D. Foster's The Courage to Change Everything by going to couragetochange.us. Quite frankly, there is no other book like this. Imagine what your life would be like if you had at your fingertips the success principles to create the life you've always wanted. Are you ready to live your dream? Go to couragetochange.us. That's couragetochange.us.
We're back with Voices of Courage. And now your host, Ken D. Foster.
Well, I'd like to welcome everybody back to Voices of Courage today. I want to thank you for tuning in. If you're new to the show, get ready to see the unseeable, know the unknowable, and do the impossible. If you're enjoying the great content of this show and the insights of Voices of Courage that we deliver to you, I hope you'll also check out a couple of our new affiliates. We have UK Health Radio, Biz Talk Radio, and Talk Radio New York City. All 3 networks are dedicated to empowering you to solve your problems, uplift your spirit, and become the best version of yourself that you can be. Again, you can find them, all these new networks, at ukhealthradio.com, talkradio.nyc, and biztalkradio.com. Hope you'll check them all out. All right, I'm in studio right now with Jennifer Marcenelle. And we're talking about burnout. We're talking about how to notice the symptoms and how to move through burnout in a very short period of time. Jennifer, okay, burnout. Other symptoms that they might need to know so that we can identify it quickly. How do we identify this?
First things first, if you are having difficulty getting to sleep or staying asleep, or you go to bed and everything from the day, or there's a person in your mind that you cannot get out of your space, that person is actually pulling your energy and burning you out. Uncontrolled or uncharacteristic emotional experiences. You're crying easily, or you're losing your temper, chopping people's head off, things like that aren't normal for you or appropriate for the situation. Definitely a sign of burnout. And if you get so far as to where you are acting in disdain towards someone, then you are on the critical stages, and that is a significant critical warning sign that you're towards the end stages of burnout. So if you're also getting to where you have anxiety, that's not normal anxiety, that's asking you to make some changes or relieved by yoga or meditation, that's an early sign of burnout. But when that anxiety continues to mount and gets to where it's controlling you, or you're having heart palpitations, or you're shaking, or you're having physical manifestations of your anxiety, again, that is an end stage classic symptom of burnout. And I really encourage everyone to reach out for help if you're experiencing any of those.
Well, you've written a new book. I want to talk about that too, because I know there's some solutions inside that book that that can help people to move past burnout. So you have the book, you have the picture of that. I don't have one with me. Let's put that up right now. Okay, so it's From Burnout to Burning Bright is the name of the book. And I take it people can get the book on Amazon and or your website.
Correct. It's on Amazon, and I have it on my website at a discounted price from the Amazon rate.
Oh, okay. That's good. What's the website? Might as well tell them that real quick.
Burnbrighttoday.com.
Burnbrighttoday. I like that. I love that. Burn bright today. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Let's burn bright. Okay. So in that book, I know you have tips for improving mental, physical, emotional, energetic health.
Correct.
Can you give me a few of those?
Yeah, sure. So I would say the number one cause of burnout today is an imbalance in our relationships. I saw that at a 360 degrees in the workplace in corporate America in sales. Unrealistic expectations, too much giving and too much taking from someone without giving anything back, not only from senior leadership, but direct leadership, coworkers, teams, teammates, colleagues, things like that. So I would say the number one cause of burnout is an imbalance in our relationship. And we're really being supported to change this right now and ending this codependency that we've been trained to have. And I talk a lot about that in my book. And I also talk in my book, for example, if we go to chapter 3, I talk about, and it's titled chapter 3, Why Does This Keep Happening to Me? Understanding Reincarnation, Past Lives, and Their Role in Healing. The Miracle of Mending Relationships. So there's a lot of really good factual that comes at it from the scientific energy medicine perspective, because burnout is an energy problem, and for an energy problem, we need an energy solution. And that's how I healed myself and came through it to thrive and become burning bright.
For guests that may not have are familiar with energy solutions, okay? Yeah. I think most people can understand it's an energy problem. Their energy is up and down. They're like you said, they may be oversleeping, they be stressed out, lower energy. Their mind's not thinking properly. They're in that place. But what are energy solutions? I think that's interesting.
Yeah. So to get to an energy solution, I'll take us back just a step, and let's go we'll tip our toe in the pool with me, okay, into holistic nursing. And we'll talk a little bit about our multidimensional selves. And the book goes into this in greater detail if anybody's interested. But high level.
I think a lot of people are interested in understanding multidimensional selves. Good. And I think that this is something new that's coming into the consciousness. Yes. So if you haven't heard that term before, it's out there. This is an important subject because it helps you to understand who you are at a multidimensional level and be able to heal things in your life that you would not normally be able to heal without the understanding of what Jennifer's about to give us. So go ahead.
Exactly. So let's just the basics. We are more than our physical body. We have an energetic anatomy that requires care and maintenance and repair the same way or as much as or more than our physical bodies do. So in the book, this goes into detail if you want to get down and have a little case of insomnia and want to study up on it. But we have the chakra system, which many people, if you've ever taken yoga, are familiar with the chakras. And we have the meridian system, which anyone who's had acupuncture is familiar with Chinese medicine that works with the meridian system. But we also have other advanced energetic anatomy as well. And I go into this about the subtle bodies. We have our physical body, our supraphysical body, emotional body, the karmic or memory body, the mental body, the intuitive body, and we have our soul body, that part of us that is our spirituality, our divinity. And each of those subtle bodies can get energetically injured, and they need to be cleaned, they need to be cleared, and they may need to be repaired. And that's what I do in my practice.
And you know what I love about this, okay? Because this, some people go, oh, that's not true, or I've never heard this before. But here's what I've learned over the years is that if you've got something chronic going on and you have not been able to heal it, then it's time to let go of your resistance of knowing what you think you know and opening your mindset up to something new to come in so that you can learn what you need to learn to heal what you need to heal. Almost anything can be healed as long as you can shift your perspective and understand and work with the right practitioner. So what Jennifer is saying, I have some knowledge and wisdom and information in my new book, and this will help you start that path of understanding what you don't know right now. So if you got something chronic going on, I love this conversation. And by the way, let's go. I got about a minute to go on this before we take a break, and then we'll come back and talk more about this. So multidimensional, okay, you went into that. Once we understand the different ways of working with our energy systems, how does that promote healing?
Well, so what's long been understood in any type of holistic care is that most, if not all, let's say many, injuries, illnesses, or disease, or even accidents actually begin as energetic issues. So if we can address the energetic issues first, we may be able to not only heal a disease or an illness or an injury that we're having, but we could also avoid it altogether.
That's really
raising
good.
awareness and being proactive.
I got to take a break, but just a quick example of that. If you're holding resentment onto somebody, and you go out and you get in the car and you drive, and your mind's not thinking clearly, and you get in an accident, you go, oh, it was just an accident. No, probably not. It's probably because you weren't thinking rightly and you had some energy to clear before you got in that car. So that's what we're talking about. We'll be right back. And got one more segment with Jennifer, so stay tuned. Again, her book is Burn Bright. You can get their book at burnbrighttoday.com. I'll be right back.
We'll be back with more Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster. Learn more about Ken, how to be a guest on the show, and sponsorship opportunities by visiting voicesofcourage.us.
If you, your company, or organization is out to change the world and you need a team that produces results to take your message to the next level, Wasabi Publicity is the perfect fit. Recognized by PR Week and Good Morning America for its innovative business practices, Wasabi Publicity works with companies and individuals committed to doing good in the world. Whether it's creating an engaging website, building a passionate social media tribe, or connecting their clients with top media influencers like Good Morning America, the New York Times, and Oprah. Everything they do is instilled with passion, impact, and brilliance. If you're an author, speaker, or organization committed to changing the world, and you need a partner to support you with PR, your website, or social media, go to wasabipublicity.com. That's wasabipublicity.com to schedule a call with Wasabi CEO Drew Gerber.
The most talented athletes in the world rely on a coach to get better, and the most successful business people do the same.
I have found working with Ken D. Foster to be an extraordinary experience. He helped me to expand my vision, increase profits, and showed me the way to have more fulfillment and success in my life.
Ken D. Foster is the coach's coach for business and life. He has been nicknamed the coach of the successful and wealthy.
Ken is an instrumental part of my team and the success I have generated over the past 12 months. Ken gave me the strategies to increase productivity, reduce turnover, and take my business to the next level.
So what's holding you back? Ken D. Foster is a master business coach with proven strategies to dramatically increase efficiency and productivity while maximizing individual development and fulfillment. Explore your possibilities. For a free consultation, log on to kendfoster.com. That's kendfoster.com. kendfoster.com.
We're back with Voices of Courage. And now your host, Ken D. Foster.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody back to the show. This is Ken D. Foster, your host. I want to give a shout out to a couple groups that are sponsoring our show. One is a women's group here in San Diego area. They're also online. You can find them at womenswisdom.net. They are the premier networking group for purpose-driven, soul-inspired women in the San Diego area. They've been around since 1991. Again, you can find them at womenswisdom.net. What they do is they bring in some of the most prolific women speakers in the country that come in to speak at this event. And they help businesses, women's businesses, women to grow their businesses and to grow their lives in ways that are profound, actually. I'd also want to thank everybody for tuning into Voices of Courage. I appreciate you letting your friends know and letting other people that you know out there that want to be inspired, that want to be enlightened, that want to take their lives to a new level. You can find all of our show replays at voicesofcourage.us, voicesofcourage.us. And if you're driving in your car or you're sitting in your home and you have a Siri, Cortana, or Alexa, if you just say play Voices of Courage podcast, our shows will come right up and you can listen to them wherever you are. So today our show is called The Courage to Increase Your Wealth While Avoiding a Burnout. So we're in the burnout section right now, and I'm with Jennifer Marcenelle, and Jennifer is a board-certified registered nurse with over 30 years experience in the medical industry. She's also an energy medicine practitioner. Okay, Jennifer, just to continue our conversation here. All right, let's say I've got something going on in my life. I've got some burnout, or what I clarify as burnout, or I have something chronic going on. All right, we get your book. We understand energetic medicine a little deeper now. What's my next step?
So I think the next step is really to evaluate for yourself. Are you ready to heal? Because healing is not the same thing in Western medicine, where we go and we receive a treatment expecting something, a Band-Aid to be put over it. Healing takes courage, because on the road to healing, it's a journey, and wellness and healing is something that we endeavor to every day, and it requires work on our part. And it requires meeting ourselves to get that understanding of what's going on in our life, because to your point earlier, once we get that understanding of what it is that's going on in our life, then we get the karmic lesson and we can heal and we can begin that healing journey. So if you're there and you're to the point where I've tried everything else and nothing else works, I invite you to reach out and really explore some of the holistic modalities, because there's a holistic revolution going on right now. There's many to work from. So I would say find a practitioner that you are comfortable with and be curious and with an open heart, proactively skeptical, but open up and really give some of these other modalities that have been around for a long time. They're just mainstream now. And one of those is what I practice. I practice Reiki, and I also practice gemstone and diamond therapy. So cutting edge technology that's been around for a long time and available for you now.
But here's the cool thing, because of the studies around neuroscience and studies around functional MRI and epigenetics and some of the science right now that can actually go in and see exactly what's happening when we change our thoughts and we are open to change, we're open to heal. I love that question you said. Are you ready to heal? And, it doesn't mean, like you said, go to the doctor and get a pill. No, it means, are you really in a place where you can imagine yourself, no matter how long your chronic illness has gone on? Recently had a fellow that had a back pain for 10 years, have it completely healed. He had plates in his back, right? Through energetic medicine that we're talking about right now. He's a personal friend of mine, so I know it works, right? And both of us have so many stories around this. But if you're ready to heal, then there are solutions. I think that's my whole point here. And have you ever seen anybody that, let me ask you this, why don't people heal? Let me go there.
Well, there are many reasons. One of which is what you brought up is in the 2010s, we're now in the 2020s, but in the 2010s, we had a misunderstanding about how to use mindfulness. And when our mind out-creates our divinity, it really makes everything a very complex issue, and it takes over and creates things that aren't real, okay? And it can block you from healing. You can be receiving, and here's an example in my practice. You can be in receiving a gemstone and diamond therapy session, and those gems and those diamonds are actually repairing the damage. Okay, it could be permanent. But if you're allowing your mind to say, I don't believe this and this can't be true, literally the mind can stop it. So we now are moving into the 2020s, the year of perfect vision, the Aquarian age, to where we're merging spirituality and science. And we're now learning a new response ability with our mind. And that our mind should work for us as a surgical tool and not be out there creating for us. We want that to come from the heart, and we want that to come from our spirituality. So yeah, you can undo anything if you talk yourself out of it.
And, they've done a lot of study even on placebo, where they could get up to 98% placebo rates, right? Where you're just really what's happening with placebo. You are a person that knows how to use your mind to believe that you can heal. That's actually part of what's going on with placebo. So if you're that person that already has, a lot of people there's a bad rap with placebos. Oh, it's a placebo effect. Great. I love it. It's a placebo effect. You have actually been able to heal something in you using placebo. Awesome. So like you said, we are changing the way that we use our mind. We're changing the way that we understand the mind, and it's all science-based. We can all look back and go, wow, we can turn off and on genes? Really? Never heard that.
Yes, we can.
Well, there we can, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so let's tell them one more time about your book. I've got a couple more minutes, and then I want some final thoughts here with you.
Yeah. So the full title is From Burning Out to Burning Bright, Get Your Life Back by Healing Your Thoughts, Memories, and Emotions. This is a how-to book. This shares my personal experience as well as those of some of my clients about how we came through the darkness of burning out to the light of burning bright. It actually has steps and action items and solutions for you at the end of every chapter. And some other resources in the back of the book as well. It's on my website, burnbrighttoday.com, and it's a discounted rate on my website, or you're welcome to get it through Amazon if you prefer to get it there. And I'm thrilled, and I would love to hear what everybody thinks about it, what resonates, what doesn't, and what questions do you have? What else are you looking to have answered? What are you struggling with that you're looking for?
Oh, that's a good question. So Jennifer, if they have those questions, how do they get a hold of you? Is there an email address or website that they can just go to contact you?
Yeah, quick and easy. Go to the website, sign up, contact me through my website. Either call the 1-800 number that goes through my call center. I have local, national, and international clientele. So call anytime. Don't worry, you're not going to wake me up. And it'll go to my personnel. Or you can directly email me through the website as well. And I also offer a free consultation, a free 15-minute consultation. So I really want to get to know you. We can meet by video conference, just like this, where we can see each other, hear what's going on, and help get you pointed in the right direction. Whether I can help or I can refer you to someone in the Burn Bright Today community who could assist you better.
Oh, man. Listen, Jennifer, thank you so much for being part of this show. I really appreciate you being here. Any final thoughts or what your message might be to the world? You got your platform here.
Yeah. I would say, don't let anyone ever dim your light. We are meant to burn bright, and we are meant to shine and live with joy. And every human being, it's a birthright. We just have to do our part and take those steps and heal our way home to God and heal our way to burning bright every day. I did it, and so can you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for joining me. Listen, coming up in my next segment, I have Joan Sotkin. For over 30 years, she's been guiding entrepreneurs and practitioners to resolve long-standing money issues. So stay tuned. I will be right back.
We'll be back with more Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster. Learn more about Ken, how to be a guest on the show, and sponsorship opportunities by visiting voicesofcourage.us.
Where do you turn when a woman you love is suffering from addiction, anxiety, or depression? What can you do when her struggle is tearing you apart? There's a unique program exclusively for women that offers sustainable recovery and transformation. Villa Kalima is located in a beautiful, peaceful resort-like setting in La Costa, California. Villa Kalima is a residential recovery program accepting only 6 women at a time for individualized treatment with proven clinical and holistic therapies for transforming the mind, body, and spirit, focusing on healing the cause, not temporarily masking symptoms. Villa Kalima is a licensed and accredited residential treatment center for women accepting health insurance policies with out-of-network benefits. Find out how you can help her begin her healing by calling Villa Kalima in La Costa at 760-814-8214, 760-814-8214, or visit villakalima.com.
You know you have it, the potential for a more rewarding life, a life that matters. But how do you get there? The answer is in Ken D. Foster's best-selling book, The Courage to Change Everything, Daily Strategies and Essential Wisdom to Awaken Your Inner Genius. With this powerful 365-day guide, your future is in your hands. Imagine having a detailed roadmap to reprogram your brain daily with astute wisdom, courageous strategies, and time-tested wealth principles. You will redefine what is possible for you, unlock your potential, and bring out your best to take your relationships, finances, and life to a new level. Get your life-transforming copy of Ken D. Foster's The Courage to Change Everything by going to couragetochange.us. Quite frankly, there is no other book like this. Imagine what your life would be like if you had at your fingertips the success principles to create the life you've always wanted. Are you ready to live your dream? Go to couragetochange.us. That's couragetochange.us.
We're back with Voices of Courage. And now your host, Ken D. Foster.
Well, welcome back to Voices of Courage. Ken Foster here. Listen, are you an author or are you a would-be author? If so, a few of my New York Times best-selling author friends, book marketing strategists, and I are teaching you how to write, market, and launch your book to best-selling status at no cost to you. You're going to learn from the experts that I use, their formulas, their strategies, their simple steps to make your book a bestseller and get your message in the world. If that sounds intriguing to you, I invite you to go over to couragetochange.us/invite. Again, couragetochange.us/invite. And if you do, you're going to be able to listen to about 14 of the top speakers in the nation that are best-selling New York Times authors themselves. One is Marcy Shimoff. Marcy sold, I think, 16, 17 million books so far. Another one is Robert Allen. He's there. He's sold, he's been New York Times bestseller several times. And the other one that I think is really interesting, gosh, we got so many of them. Bill Gladstone, who's a publisher these days, and was a book agent, sorry. He's put out about 5,000 books. He talks about where the marketing, where the industry is currently today. So I hope you'll check that out. All righty. So I'm so excited. Joan, you've been waiting in the wings here for a moment, and I'm so glad to have you. Let me introduce you formally. Joan Sotkin has been, as I said a little earlier, guiding entrepreneurs and practitioners to resolve long-standing money issues. She is the founder of the popular website, prosperityplace.com. She's host of the Prosperity Show podcast, and she's the author of the award-winning book, Build Your Money Muscles. 9 simple exercises for improving your relationship with money and so much more. Joan, welcome to the show. How are you today? Where are you calling in from today? Where are you?
Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Oh, Santa Fe. All right. I love Santa Fe. I got a couple friends out there. That's great. Well, okay, money. We first talked about burnout. Now we're going to talk a little bit about, once you're out of your burnout place, let's go make some money. Let's have some fun. Let's build a great relationship with it. How'd you get into this, first of all? Let me just ask you that.
Well, I came from a family that was pretty money oriented, but I never could make it. I had 2 millionaire brothers, and I couldn't rub 2 pennies together. I was sick. I was emotionally unstable, and I wanted to know why. And why we came from the same family, why were they where they are, and why am I was I where I was. And so that was in the 1970s when I was in my 30s. I've been around a while. And that has been my journey to find out. And this is, remember, in the 1970s, no one was talking about mindset. There wasn't a whole lot of information available. So I pretty much had to find it myself. And so I've come up with my theories about how it works and how we create our life stories. I was very into metaphysics before I got into this. So I have a kind of unusual way of looking at it.
That's good. Well, how did you come with your personal experiences lead you to look for since 1970s, nothing's going on. Like you said, maybe there's Think and Grow Riches out there and a couple of, spiritual gurus that are teaching people about mindset at the time.
No, they weren't there was one book on Philip Loud's book on money. There wasn't a whole lot of stuff until the 1980s.
That's right. So how did your internal guidance lead you to understand that internally we need to switch if we're going to change our money issues? How did that come about?
Well, I started meditating in 1972, which was fairly early on. And I had some strange experiences, which I describe in my book, The Search for Connection, where someone was living with me who was channeling, and I didn't know to get into this. I usually don't.
That's great. I love it. Let's go there. Let's go.
And in 1976, I wound up giving everything I owned away and learning how to just listen to the voice. I had no money, never knew where I was going to stay, where the food was going to come from. And I learned to just listen to the intuition, whatever was guiding me, and to trust that it will get me where I had to go. And
well, I can say this, in 1972, the voices I were listening to were not getting me where I wanted to go.
So, and along the line, I got this message, go buy a pound of tumbled stones. And I was at my parents' house at the time at Lake Hopatcong, New Jersey. And I knew there was a lapidary store where my mother used to buy mineral specimens and give them as gifts. So I went in there and I said, I need a pound of tumbled stones. And he said, what size? And my hand went up and I said, about that size. And a week later, I had them.
That can't see on our Zoom. She's putting about the size a little bigger than a quarter, $50.
Right, about an inch. And I got the pound of tumbled stones, and that turned into a huge business. I was the first one to market crystals and minerals for healing and meditation nationwide. I had a line of stones called Joan stones that were in 600 stores. I was bringing in today's money, about $50,000 a month, but I had no idea how to manage cash flow. So I wound up going bankrupt. I had a lot of crystals, but I didn't know how to manage inventory or cash flow. And so after the bankruptcy, which kind of knocked me out for quite a while, I knew that I had to learn more about money. I was going to Debtors Anonymous and Codependents Anonymous and Overeaters Anonymous. I was barely present, and just learning about how emotions affect money. And I came from a family where one of the spoken rules was Sotkins don't feel. And so I had to teach myself about emotions and how to feel different emotions.
That's really good. So let me just cut to the chase on emotions. This is such an important piece. So why do you think money is such an emotional experience for a lot of people?
Well, first of all, money is an energy source. It's energy passing passing between two people or entities. And how you deal with money is how you deal with yourself and the world around you. It's all energy. We can call it a symbol of energy. So, and when we use money, we're putting our personal energy out in the world. And that can be pretty scary. Now, the question is, you ask the question, why is it so emotional? You have certain emotional habits that developed early in childhood. And you bring those habitual emotions to everything in your life. So when you're looking at your bank account and you're feeling really contracted and, oh, I should have more money, and, oh, that's got nothing to do with money. You're bringing your habitual emotions of shame and fear of abandonment and all that other stuff to the money. So if you can learn, and that affects your decisions, because you're creating your life stories with your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. And if you don't understand emotions, then you're going to miss it. So I spend a lot of time helping people recognize and replacing their habitual emotions so they can make different kinds of decisions.
So give me an example of a habitual emotion, for example. Shame. So
Shame.
Somebody says, well, okay, I don't have as much money as the next person, so now I'm feeling shameful about not having enough money. Is that?
But they don't realize that they feel shame. Most people do not have a very good...
What is the feeling of shame? So how do people relate to shame that are in their heads all the time?
Okay, so most people who I work with don't know how to say, this is what I'm feeling. So what I have people do is close their eyes and imagine that they're looking at their bank balance and to recognize whether they feel contracted or expanded.
That's good.
Okay, that's all you have to recognize.
Let's say they feel contracted. How do they turn that around?
Okay, then I say, and when did you feel that before? And they'll start telling me times when their father told them he was a disappointment, all the messages we get as children, and just being a whole lot shorter than the rest of the world. Why are they so tall and I'm so short, right? And we live in a very shame-based society. There's a lot of religion brings in shame. And so you have to recognize that there's this pattern that you've had all your life. And it's different for everybody. It's like you were talking about the different stones and what they do. It's different for everybody. And once you recognize what that feeling is within you, then I can help you give it a label, but it's not necessary.
Well, then
what I have people do.
Joan, I've got to take a break, but when I come back, let's start right there. I want to know how to break the emotional pattern or habits so that, whatever that habit is, whether and whoever you are, so that we can take it to the next level. So I got to take a break. I'll be right back, and then we'll take on this subject even further. So
we'll be back with more Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster. Learn more about Ken, how to be a guest on the show, and sponsorship opportunities by visiting voicesofcourage.us.
You know you have it, the potential for a more rewarding life, a life that matters. But how do you get there? The answer is in Ken D. Foster's best-selling book, The Courage to Change Everything, Daily Strategies and Essential Wisdom to Awaken Your Inner Genius. With this powerful 365-day guide, your future is in your hands. Imagine having a detailed roadmap to reprogram your brain daily with astute wisdom, courageous strategies, and time-tested wealth principles. You will redefine what is possible for you, unlock your potential, and bring out your best to take your relationships, finances, and life to a new level. Get your life-transforming copy of Ken D. Foster's The Courage to Change Everything by going to couragetochange.us. Quite frankly, there is no other book like this. Imagine what your life would be like if you had at your fingertips the success principles to create the life you've always wanted. Are you ready to live your dream? Go to couragetochange.us. That's couragetochange.us.
If you, your company, or organization is out to change the world and you need a team that produces results to take your message to the next level, Wasabi Publicity is the perfect fit. Recognized by PR Week and Good Morning America for its innovative business practices, Wasabi Publicity works with companies and individuals committed to doing good in the world. Whether it's creating an engaging website, building a passionate social media tribe, or connecting their clients with top media influencers like Good Morning America, the New York Times, and Oprah. Everything they do is instilled with passion, impact, and brilliance. If you're an author, speaker, or organization committed to changing the world, and you need a partner to support you with PR, your website, or social media, go to wasabipublicity.com. That's wasabipublicity.com to schedule a call with Wasabi CEO Drew Gerber.
We're back with Voices of Courage. And now your host, Ken D. Foster.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody back. This is Ken D. Foster. I'm your host, and what a great show we have today. We're talking about the courage to increase your wealth and avoid a burnout. Right now, my guest is Joan Sotkin, and she's been guiding entrepreneurs and practitioners to resolve their long-standing money issues for decades. So I'm so pleased, as I said earlier, Joan, to have you on the show. Before I really get into it, is there a way that, do you have a new book out right now?
Well, the money book is Build Your Money Muscles, 9 simple exercises for improving your relationship with money. And if people would like a free PDF copy of the book, it's at prosperityplace.com/free BYMM.
Okay, let me do that again. prosperityplace.com/free
BYMM.
BYMM. Okay. So if you'd like to get your free copy or PDF of Joan's book, that's the place to go. I'm so glad I asked that. Okay, let me dive back in. So how do we break the emotional habit? Okay, we've identified it. Let's say we have a feeling of shame when we look at our bank account, and now we're going, gosh, okay, I've had this forever.
Okay.
No, okay.
Okay, so you're recognizing the kinesthetic experience in your body, okay?
Yes.
Then let's say you're feeling.
Okay, well, we have a little technical issue here going on. Not sure what that is.
You put your hand over the tightness. I don't have to see this. And you make the sound of the feeling.
Okay, so let's go back over that one time. Okay, so repeat that one more time.
Okay, so once you recognize the feeling of contraction in your body, you put your hand over the area that feels tight, and you make the sound of the emotion. This is not easy for people. They'll start out with, and the idea is to get to, really.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Right, because that's expressing the emotion. The emotion, these neuropeptides of the emotion are stuck in the receptors in your cells, and you're expressing the emotion. Then you say to yourself, what would I rather be feeling? And instead of shame, let's say you want to feel confident. My next question is, do you know how to feel that? And you can remember a moment in time in your life when you felt confident. So every time you look at your bank account and you feel yourself contracting, then start expanding. Stand straighter. I am confident. And what you're doing is you're creating new neural pathways in your brain so that you can have new responses to familiar stimuli. I'm very into the science. I used to be into metaphysics. Now I'm into the brain science and all the brain chemicals. And I really believe that if you understand how your brain and body work, that you can make a better choices as to how you're going to take care of yourself and in which direction you want to move.
Well, I love that. So let me just ask you about that. So how is money tied into, let's say, dopamine or
boy, is it tied into dopamine. Dopamine, there's a book out now called The Molecule of More. My interview with the author of that will be up on my website soon. And dopamine is what really keeps you alive because it drives you towards food, sex. That's what keeps our species going. And the thing with dopamine is it always wants more. And it's very future oriented. So if we have so much money porn in advertising now. I'll show you how to make $100,000 in the next 3 months. That's money porn. And what happens is inside your brain, you're going, ooh, $100,000 in 3 months. That's what I want. And you start getting this motivation from the dopamine to go towards this. The problem with dopamine is it always wants more, which is why someone with $9 million wants 10. And the guy with $1 billion wants 2. And it really can screw up a lot of your life. And the dopamine also, every time you get to where you're going, when you get unexpected results, that's when you get the real pleasure reward. But if you don't get the results you expect, and that happens particularly if you're following this money porn, which is always kind of disappointing, you get this negative reward prediction error, it's called, where you expect something and you don't get it. And so what you wind up with is not the pleasure response, but the disappointment. And that's all tied in with dopamine. And so because we don't need the dopamine as much to get our food or our sex, although I'm doing a whole thing now on money, sex, and dopamine. We often want more.
To have you back on the show. We're going to talk about that one exclusively.
Okay, well, you chose the topic today. So, and if you're not getting enough lately, then there's all sorts of feelings when you're not getting the satisfaction. The fellow who wrote the book said to me yesterday, he said, you can't be happy and satisfied at the same time because those are 2 different chemical responses in your brain. So, so people go after pornography, and if you're not getting enough sex, people look to pornography, and it's the same motivation as going after more money. And the thing is, the people who advertise know that you always need a little more to keep you interested. So they give you something a little more dangerous, a little more enticing. And if you look at, my favorite is looking at pharmaceutical ads where everybody is thin, happy, in relationship with a child or a dog.
Gosh, that's all we need to do is take the happy pill and we'll like that.
Right. So and the jingles behind everything is like, get the disease and you'll be happy and have good relationships. And, it doesn't matter that you got psoriasis, you've got the drug. So we have to learn about these dopamine enticements that are coming at us all the time, because that need for more. I know some people are more dopaminogenic than others. I do high dopamine, so I make impulsive decisions and I get bored easily. And you have to recognize how your brain chemicals are responsible for a lot of your behavior. And there is such a thing as behavioral genetics. That's a whole nother thing that people aren't talking about much. So because my father was a compulsive debtor, that's what I learned how to do. And I followed his behavior. And it was much harder for me to give up debting than someone else whose parents taught them other kinds of money habits.
Isn't that interesting? Wow, there's a whole show on that too, behavioral genetics. I love that. Well, listen, I'm about out of time here, so let me do this. Let me give the guests your website again, where they can get your book. Why don't we do that, and then we're gonna have to close.
Okay, so it's prosperityplace.com/free BYMM, one word.
Okay, everybody got that? I hope you do. And I can't thank you enough for being here, Joan. I would like to have both you and Jennifer back on the show later on this year. I think this is a great show, great topic. And, we're combining science with metaphysics, with with wealth principles from both the East and the West. I think that when we do that, what happens is that we start to understand a lot more about ourselves, what we're capable of, and how we can break the patterns no matter where you are in life. I don't care if you're 60, 70, 80 years old. If you want to break your money patterns, you could break that. You can go see Joan. You could go see Jennifer. You can see, we can help you to change these things. So hope you'll continue to listen to the show. Hope you'll let your friends know about the show. Again, you can see and hear all the replays at voicesofcourage.us. That's voicesofcourage.us. Thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, be sure to continue to look and see the unseeable, know the unknowable, and do the impossible.
Thanks for joining us for Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster. Learn more about Ken, how to be a guest on the show, and sponsorship opportunities by visiting voicesofcourage.us. And we're always interested in what you have to say. So follow Ken on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or email your questions and comments to viewer@voicesofcourage.us. Also, you can find all of Ken's previous shows by visiting voicesofcourage.us. Be sure to join us next time as Ken brings more stories of courage that will inspire greatness within you and change your life for the better. Until next time, live courageously and see the unseeable, know the unknowable, and do the impossible. This has been Voices of Courage with Ken D. Foster.
AM/FM 247, the best in talk and music all day and every day.